known Shelley a long time. We met at Rotary a couple of decades ago, and Shelley's developed the simplest, most practical, easy to apply, effective communication rubric, integrity-based communications. She works in concert with corporate training initiatives to apply these important principles, preparing high potential employees for leadership roles and success. Shelley teaches how to establish a personal presence, whether in front of a group or an intimate dinner. How to hold an interesting, impactful conversation with an audience, a small group, or even a single person. How to show respect by listening, getting to the point, and doing what you say, filling the critical gap not covered by speechwriters and image coaches. Others describe Shelley in one word: integrity. To me, Shelley is Ms. Accountability. Please join me in welcoming to the podium author, coach, and my friend, Shelley Baur.
Thank you so much, Mark. And those were the words, largely, of Dave Miller, who is Vice President at Medtronic. So I wanted you to hear some things that were said about me by my client, instead of me talking about me. What I really want to talk about today, this is my very favorite quote. It's old, it's by Earl Nightingale, and he says, in order to become the person you wish to become, you must first think, walk, talk, and act as if you already are that person. And lots of times we don't know how we're acting. We're living in a vacuum, and we're not quite aware of how we're coming across to other people. I gave to everybody the habits to break, which are the axioms of integrity-based communications. And sometimes when we take a look at the things that we need to change, we realize we're looking in the mirror at ourselves. The flip side of that card is the habits to make, which are the 6 behaviors of integrity-based communications. So, who am I? Well, first of all, I'm a wife. Top left is John Baur, the love of my life. Some of us have to do more practice than others before we get it right, but John is my soulmate, and I'm just so happy to have been married to him almost 15 years now. To the right, top right is me with my mom. We had taken her on a cruise. And to the bottom right, the kids. I'm bonus mom to Krista, who lives in New York, and Jim, who lives in Chicago. And then to the left, it's pretty dark, but it's so cute. Mom just turned 90, and she went to the Grand Canyon with us. John and the kids hiked down the South Rim and up the North Rim. Mom and I played tons of Scrabble, had a great time. And then in the middle is representing our church. That's our very favorite priest, and that was his last Sunday. We're really going to miss him. I'm Catholic light. Go to the Episcopal Church. Okay. And I'm also a mentor to Ruta Benelskita, who many of you have met in the top left. She's back from Lithuania. She's getting ready to start her MBA at the University of Memphis. We first met through the Mile Mentoring Program, which Mark and I have both been involved in. And then the rest of these friends are those who were at our home on the 15th to celebrate the brand new members of GMBNI and their sponsors. So you can see some smiling faces that look familiar. And I'm not going to take the time to name names because I'll forget somebody. And then I am an entrepreneur, the CEO of One Source Associates. And if you go to my website, you'll note that there are 3 doors that you can walk into: integrity-based communications, living on purpose, and leadership. And leadership is what I do, but one of the things that makes us different is that integrity-based communications is the foundation of everything that we do. No matter what the topic is, if it's diversity and inclusion, presentation skills, leadership development foundations, it's going to begin with integrity-based communications as the foundation. So what is integrity? What do you think? What are some synonyms you think of? Truthful.
Doing the right thing when nobody's watching.
Doing the right thing even when nobody's watching. Well, there's always someone watching with a capital S, right? What else? Say? Ethical. Absolutely. Well, in integrity-based communications, integrity stands for the effective communications, which are the words and the tone of voice to the right and the body language to the left. But really, integrity-based communications is about aligning your words, your tone of voice, your body language, and more importantly, or certainly as important, your attitude, your energy, who you are when you sweep into the room. What kind of impression are you giving? And so what makes us different? It is that whole integration of the person. It's being able to have the wake-up call that says, you know what, I do need to make a change, and it's up to me to do it. So that is where authentic leadership begins, when we're willing to open the kimono, take the risks, be vulnerable, so that we're modeling the leadership that we want our employees or our colleagues to have. Okay, let me ask you a question. How many of you, honestly, find it difficult to refer me? Okay, here's the key. Types of clients over here, from companies to subject matter experts and nonprofits in between, and a variety of industries. Here's how I'm typically hired. Their hair is on fire. I want people to hear my name before I ever get to the correct person. In other words, when I'm in front of the VP or the director or the team leader, whoever it is, they go, you know, I keep on hearing about you. That's music to my ears. So it really doesn't matter where you introduce me. It could be to a director of training, it could be sales education, it could be HR, it could be any business leader who is affecting the decision. So presentation skills is probably the number one reason that I'm brought in. There's a little flow chart up here if you want to take a look at it. But that's typically, I don't just do a 2-day event. I'm going to go in with 4 half days or 2 half days and do individual one-to-one coaching with the clients in between and meet them where they are so that they can go to the next level, whatever that is for them. Right now I'm working with a client from Medtronic who flew in from San Francisco yesterday. We worked last night. She'll be rehearsing with me this morning, then showing it to her vice president and director, and then we'll videotape this afternoon. I mean, it's just a marathon. She's going to be ready for the executive committee on the 26th. So another favorite way that I'm brought in is for employee resource groups. That is especially, it could be anybody. It could be women engineers, it could be the Asian group, it could be a diversity and inclusion group, but often they're looking for a speaker or a workshop leader. They've seen me someplace else, and they go, wow, I'm looking for somebody. When you hear that, you want to think of me. And a need for improved employee engagement. I just did the management toolkit rollout for Medtronic Spine. 200 frontline managers went through that. And business leaders, anybody who's not meeting their goals. It's either going to be for Paul, or it's going to be for me, or it could be a hybrid of the two. Or you hear someone saying, yeah, I have got some people issues big time. Or people just won't talk nicely to each other. That's a perfect referral for me. For over 20 years, I have been empowering leaders to be their personal best. That's what I'm passionate about. That's my why. That's what makes my heart sing, is when people can break through. What are the problems we solve? Thank you, Paul, for that setup. FedEx, Right Medical Technologies, a silo mentality, a lack of teamwork, Service Master, branch managers with failing branches, helping them do a turnaround, and then of course Medtronic, leaders with lackluster communication skills. Talk about rocket scientists who really know their stuff, but when it comes to engaging with the employee, it's not just here. You got to make it here, and you got to do it confidently and comfortably. And then across the board, empowering women leaders, and this is one of my favorites, presenting with power. So using integrity-based communications and allowing women to begin to grow into the power that's within them, and they go, oh, I can't do that. And I said, you know what? If you keep doing what you've been doing, guess what you're going to get? Same old results. So that's my job. Practical applications. First, it's leadership of ourselves. If we're not doing it authentically, how in the world can we think that anybody's going to follow us without a feeling of disconnect? And then we can be leaders of others authentically. Other practical applications. Career management and presenting well, not only privately, but publicly. And this young lady in San Francisco, she said to me, I know that this is getting in my way. I know that's going to limit my career. So fortunately, she's got a VP who really believes in her that put us together. practical applications, feedback. You can use integrity-based communications in all of these issues. You can script a conversation the way you want it to turn out, and then you're anticipating what the objections might be. It's amazing when you go to a conversation or a negotiation or a difficult situation with the end result in mind. It can turn out so much differently when you feel prepared and confident, because your energy just projects that confidence. And of course, setting boundaries, taking control of your life. And ultimately, in order to become the leader we wish to become, we must first think, walk, talk, and act as if we are that leader. Who is your role model? Who would you like to have coach you? Who would you like to help you go to the next level? And I'm being shown by Mr. Timer before he dings me that we're out of time for questions, but that's where our one-to-one starts. Whatever questions have been triggered here, whatever has been raised, whatever you go, oh, I didn't realize that about you, let's have a conversation. I'm going to have a 30-day one-to-one marathon, and I brought my calendar, and I would love to be booked before I leave the room. Shelley Baur, Building People for Life and Leadership, and thank you for being on my team.